You're listening to Marketing Impressions, brought to you by M. Roberts Digital. We are data-driven marketing experts who develop, deliver, and optimize business growth campaigns. In this podcast, you can expect to expand your knowledge in the big wide world of marketing and hear real-life marketing examples. I'm your host, Jordan Sherrod, and I'm thrilled to make marketing matter for you today. Email is a part of everyday life for billions of people in personal and business interactions, throughout the whole world. It's a fantastic way to get a message directly into people's personal, cell phones or computers, and when used appropriately, it can be really powerful. So I'm here again with multimedia marketing expert Shawn Ayaki. We're so glad to have you back here on the podcast. Okay, Shauna, so you get a little ding on your phone. It's an email, but you're super busy at work. What is it going to take you to open that email?
That headline.
Okay.
If you don't have a good headline, forget about it.
Yeah.
Depends on what it is too. Like
Okay.
if it's for my favorite shoe company and
Yep.
they're telling me, hey, you've got a sale that's 30% off, I got to put the work aside for 5 seconds and at least see what they've got to talk about.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So I feel like an email subject headline is like the first 5 seconds of a video. When we're scrolling through our phones, and nowadays our attention span is just so short. And I can't believe you've already listened to this many podcasts with us. Thank you so much for being here. But if it's not interesting or it doesn't apply to you, people are going to ignore it. They're going to send it to the trash, or worse, they're going to report you as spam, right? So definitely that email is so important when you're trying to get people to at least just open the email. So there's really two parts to email marketing, a successful email marketing campaign. One is having that headline, that relatable content that is going to implore somebody to first just open the email. Like it's like when you're a salesperson, you go to their door, you knock on the door, and what is it going to take for them to open that door? What is it going to take for them to let you in, and to get talking with you? So never send spammy emails or emails.
It's like a creeper coming up to your house, like knocking on the door. I'm not going to open the door. So if it's spammy, I'm not going to open it either.
Yeah. You want to buy a watch over here, right? But you don't send emails too that the recipient wouldn't receive some sort of benefit, right, from opening and reading. But obviously you want the headline to be engaging. So in your opinion, Shauna, what are some tips that make those headlines engaging, or something that you would consider?
Sure. Knowing who you're sending it to. So who are you trying to get to open it?
Yeah.
So if it's like, for me, we're talking about the shoes, right? Yeah. Know that I want to shop for shoes. And if it's going to be, make whatever that message is something that, a shoe shopper is going to want to open this email. Or for that brand specific, if you're, a brand ambassador, which just basically means that that's the brand that you love them, you're going to do everything for them. What is it that appeals to me to be able to open that too? Is my favorite brand giving back to, the local charity? Absolutely, I'm going to open that email. I want to give back too. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to do that too. And all I have to do is buy some new shoes?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a win-win.
In. Count me in. That's good. So one of our major email platforms has some recommendations that I'm just going to read first real quick.
Okay.
They say be short and descriptive, so aim for like 4 to 7 words, right? If it's just a super long headline, no one's gonna read that. Be enticing with personalized contact details or emojis. So you can personalize it nowadays with hey Jordan, check out this deal or whatever. Avoid spam-like language like free or spam or, other unmentionable products, things like that. Avoid all caps. That is annoying, and and we
I'm sure everybody can agree that if you get an email in all caps, you're like, really? What is this person
why
trying
is
to
he
say?
shouting at me?
Please stop yelling at me.
Yes. Or figure out how to fix your caps lock.
Yeah.
And then avoid excessive symbols and punctuation, like, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation point,
Or the dreaded 3 question marks.
Yes. Yes. Is your roof really okay? Or, whatever. Is your dog going to die? All these.
I hope not.
Anyway. But the good thing, though, is asking a question. Asking a question in which you would want the reader to figure out or find out the answer. It is a good tactic to do if it applies to them, if it's not spammy. Do share something valuable, whether that's a how-to video or just a useful piece of information for their lives. If you're going to take the time to interrupt their day for them to open, their inbox, give them some sort of value for doing that.
Yeah. Definitely, I would agree with that.
Yeah. And then also just create a sense of urgency. So things like this sale, going on now. Yeah, only 7 days left in this sale. Like
right.
That's another way to get people to open, the email. So, okay, so let's say now you've got that catchy headline, and you send an email, and they open it, right? Yes. So now, Shauna, what is it going to take for you to actually click something inside of that email, or just be impressed with it?
It's got to be easily accessible, and by that I mean like that button, whatever you're trying to get somebody to click, it's got to be right there.
Okay.
I don't want to have to scroll down to get to whatever that offer is. Yeah. If it's right there, I want to be able to see it, not have to necessarily go through all the rest of the content in the email, but go directly to whatever that call to action is. Yeah. So if they're trying to get me to buy those shoes for 30% off, I want that button to be right there so I don't have to scroll down.
Yep. Okay. That's good.
That's what I want.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, so something you mentioned was button. And actually there's a lot of people out there who, especially businesses, who are like, wait, like button? How do I add that in Gmail? Like I don't know where to do that, right? But here's the deal. We've come a long way from just text only email. Like that's not something that you should be doing as a business these days, because people expect more from you because you're a business. And these days there are programs designed for email to help create and design beautiful, image-driven emails that are sure to capture people's attention, right? And so 2 of the most popular software programs out there are Constant Contact and Mailchimp. There are others out there, but both of those 2 are kind of the leaders in the industry as far as email software go. Mailchimp is more known for its integration capabilities, and then Constant Contact usually has a lower spam rate than Mailchimp. But Constant Contact gives you more freedom with your email design overall. I feel personally that's what I use. But Mailchimp has some design elements that Constant Contact doesn't. So anyway, those are just some nerdy stats on those 2. But know that emails nowadays are meant to be more than just text. Like you should be having, pictures and images and interactive content in those emails, far more than just text, right? So
right, because you want somebody to engage with what you have going on.
So let's talk about that. What are some of the more creative ways to use an email? What are some of the things you might put in your email or send out an email for or about that is just creative or interesting?
I'm going to table that and kind of go to, I would think that it has to do with like different, what catches my eye is different amounts of messaging. So if you hit me one time with like, okay, what you said, mention how many days are left or what's the time frame for doing this. Yeah. Well, if I don't have a chance to like look or read the email right there, but I see the headline and it says, hey, 7 days for this 30% off shoe sale. Right. Man, I don't have time to do that right now, even though I really, really want to. Yeah. But if you hit me with another message on that, then it reminds me. It keeps that message top of mind. Where I'm like, oh, I really need to go back in, and I really need to go take a look at that, later on. Yeah.
So there are a lot of powerful ways to use email nowadays. One of those is the resend ability, where if someone doesn't open it within this amount of time, an automatic resend happens, right? Mm-hmm. That's something that you can do, and you can even change the title, hey, did you forget this is happening or whatever. There are all kinds of e-commerce integrations. I'm sure, you have had that.
Talking about buying shoes.
You go to the checkout, right? And you start to check out and then you're like, check your bank account and you're like, oh man, let me just wait till tomorrow. And then you get the email tomorrow that's like, hey, did you forget something? And you're like, no, I didn't forget anything. I just hang on 1 second, right? But that's powerful. That's real. Like, it's kind of, you're like, but it's cool.
It is, and it's super scary too. Mm-hmm. Like, because when you go in, or let's say that first initial email or one of the emails in that chain, I clicked on and I went to the cart and I was like, okay, I'm going to check out. And then I was like, oh wait, I got to wait till I get paid tomorrow. Right. And then the ability for that software to turn around and say, hey, this person left. Mm-hmm. How do you get them to come back? Right. And then you're able to send a follow-up email that says, hey, I noticed that your cart had something in it. Target does a great job of their push notifications on their apps saying, hey, your cart's calling you back. Yeah. Oh, they get me every time.
I saw a really good email headline that my wife pointed out the other day, and it was like, follow your cart. And I was good. It was one of those that you're like, that's cheesy, but like,
but I'm going to do it.
I'm going to give you a little clap for that. That was good, right? But yeah, there are so many powerful ways to interact through email nowadays, and e-commerce is one of those. Another one that I love is just, and this goes along with e-commerce, but is just the concept of an automated drip campaign. So an automated drip campaign is essentially where an end user, a consumer, does some sort of action, whether it's they go to the shopping cart or they sign up on a form on a website, some sort of trigger that then sets about this series of emails automatically being sent to that consumer, right? So that's what a drip campaign is. And the most powerful thing about it is I feel like it's personalized, but it's also automated. Like it's incredible that you can set this up ahead of time and even have their name inserted in there, but it can be entirely automated. So there's we talked about e-commerce, and that's a way you can do it. Another way you can do it that we've done is, someone wants to find out just more information or asks a question or something like that. On a form on a website, like, hey, they fill out a basic form fill. What you can do then is the next day, you can say, hey, this automated email, thanks for filling out that form fill. Here's a little bit of information about us, and what we do and what we're able to provide for you. And then what's so cool is you can break it down from there and say, okay, if they clicked on this one button, then send them this particular email, the next week. Or if they didn't click on this one button, send them this other email the next week. That is, and so both of those are tailored to the consumer and where they're at in your relationship journey.
Sure.
So with marketing, and especially with email automation, I like to think of it like you're dating somebody, right? Okay. And so with an email marketing drip campaign, you want this new person specifically in this campaign. You want this person to get to know you more and more. And then what happens is as you kind of go down the funnel of your emails that you're automatically sending, what you want to do is kind of tailor more specifically to what that person needs and wants. And so so what you're doing is you're providing them value, right? But you're wanting them to get to know you. And then what happens is at the end of that funnel, that's when you make your ask of like, hey, maybe you're a health provider of some sorts. You say, hey, we have this fantastic 30-day exercise plan. Why don't you sign up, get enrolled, get going, let's go. Okay. And so that's the ask, right? And so what you want to do is you don't just want to do that in the first email and immediately ask them to marry you. Right? You want to date them a little bit. Here's more information about me. Let me figure out more about you and what you're clicking. And then after you go on several dates, they open those emails, you have those interactions. At the very end, you pop the question, do you want to sign up for this 30-day workout?
So then what's that magic number? Is there a magic number for how many emails do you send to somebody before it like becomes like spammy or they,
that's good. And that's something you're going to have to determine based on what the trigger is. So maybe the client understands, something that we've done for a health provider client is something like sign up for, I think it was like 15 days of free health nutrition tips.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so that was something that they expected to happen. It was value for them. But then at the very end, there were asks for $ products.
Okay.
So that's a great clarification. And I think the more they expect, the more engagement you're going to have. But sometimes it's okay to kind of to cold automate them if they've engaged with you somehow. Obviously, do it legally. If they fill out a form, and make sure you have disclaimers and stuff. But that's a good question. So email marketing is powerful. I love the fact that it is on people's personal devices. Like it's on my phone. It's with me. There's just something about, for sure, getting something in my personalized inbox that's different from other marketing avenues.
Let me ask you this question. So how do people get to the lists for those emails to go out? Are people procuring those emails themselves? Are they using their own email lists? Are they buying email lists? How does that explain to everybody
the
how
opportunities
that works?
for that? Yeah. So the most powerful, that's a good question. The most powerful list that you can send marketing emails to is your own list that you've procured, that you've gathered and collected through your website, through in-person visits, right? Because you know that those people are already engaged with your business. Sure. They already have a relationship with you. And so when you send an email to them, it's not like, okay, who is this? What is this? Why am I getting this email? It's like, oh, okay, I'm a client there. I understand why I got this email. Right? So that's the first and most powerful group. Other groups include, you can buy a list. You can buy a targeted list that are based on certain demographics, whether that's a lot of people do political lists or buy political lists to send out, campaign emails or things like that.
I hate when I get a political.
But there are also
I'm sure they're really good for some people, but I can't stand it.
Yeah. But there are also lists that are, how do I say this, that are like that you buy but are also local, that have a relationship with somebody else.
Okay.
So, for instance, it might be a major newspaper in the area where they've collected first-party data, right? And they have this list and they know what their audience looks like, roughly. Maybe it's businesses in the area, an older demographic, and maybe that fits exactly what you're looking for with your business. And so you can kind of tag along onto or with their email marketing efforts and send out a message yourself.
And first-party data is how? Explain that to everybody what first-party data is.
Yeah. First-party data is something that you have collected. There's a lot of ways you can collect that.
Yourself,
but
right?
you yourself have collected. You haven't gone out and bought it from somebody else. It goes back to this relationship kind of aspect. They've engaged and interacted with you individually and personally in some sort of way.
Gotcha.
Whether there's a lot of ways. There's tons of ways they can do that.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Good. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. But then there's also just email ads. So you think about just like a image ad or something or an animated ad. There are all kinds of major emails that you can hop on and advertise, your ad on, that sort of thing. So.
Cool.
Yep. Well, that's email marketing, guys. We're going to hear again from another one of our clients who has some great success with email marketing, and they primarily use it to engage with their donors, with their support group. And so we're going to hear how that has helped them be successful in their marketing journey. Hey guys, I'm so excited today. I'm joined with one of my good friends, Steven Settle. He is the Axia Center Director, which is a nonprofit here in Tyler, Texas. And we're going to chat just a little bit about email marketing. So, Steven, tell us, first of all, a little bit about Axia, some of the services that you guys provide there.
Absolutely. Okay, so Axia is actually a ministry of living alternatives. And at the center there, it's a culmination of a lot of different programs. We are there mostly to serve underprivileged people in our community that are experiencing a crisis pregnancy situation. So we do that through a multitude of services, which are all free, including pregnancy testing, ultrasounds, peer counseling, parenting mentorship, childbirth education classes, doula services, you name it, we try to provide it.
That's awesome. That's crazy. Okay. So I know, within the past few years, a consistent email marketing is kind of new for Living Alternatives and for Axia, that sort of thing. So how would you say email marketing has impacted your nonprofit? What benefits does it bring?
Yeah, I think it's something, I don't think I would be exaggerating to say it's revolutionized the way we interact with the community around us, because I think we're so privileged to live in a day and age where we can be so connected so easily. And so having a designated and concerted effort towards email marketing is not just about raising money or anything like that. That is obviously a key component for a nonprofit, but being able to engage with the community and help them not only feel, but know that they're a part of the story and they're a part of impacting lives here in our community. I think that's been huge from a donor standpoint, for them to know what their dollars are going towards, obviously, is a huge benefit, and them not have to try and chase us down or vice versa. They get something in their inbox, every few weeks, giving them an update. I think it's just been a real need that we had, and something that's been really vital in the last couple of years.
So talk a little bit more about how you're communicating with that community and those donors and stuff. And what I mean by that is what's actually in those emails when people open it up?
Yeah. So I think we do a good job of balancing, some of the housekeeping type of things. This is a need that we have. This is what's going, something that it's going wrong or is broken at one of our campuses. Yeah. Would you mind helping with that? But then on the flip side, I think we always try and keep the ministry that's happening at the forefront, and so, we have some practical needs and ways that you can get involved and volunteer, obviously, but we really always try and share the really cool God stories that are happening too, and ways that lives are being impacted, and try and excite the community about things that Living Alternatives doing and things that couldn't happen without their involvement.
So there's really a story focused almost every month. What do you think? Let's talk just to the fact of people's response to stories. Why do you think people respond to testimonies and stories, more so than other content? Some of the services that you guys provide. I just feel like even our human nature leans itself more to being engaged and brought in with a story rather than just statistics or facts or hard lines and bottom lines and all that kind of stuff. Because there's something that all of a sudden becomes relatable whenever you put a story to it. That could be you. It could be a sibling, a child of yours, or a friend, someone someone you go to school with, that all of a sudden takes this kind of abstract idea or thought that maybe you never would have thought would impact your life, and all of a sudden you can see yourself in it, and or see how you can impact that situation in a way that just a number and statistics wouldn't necessarily convey. Okay, so this podcast is primarily for like marketers and business owners or nonprofit directors, things like that. So a lot of them may be asking, okay, is email marketing worth it? Is it something I should pursue? Do you find that people like actually sign up for your emails, and maybe at donor dinners or something? How in the past have you pushed, email signups or things like that? Yeah,
well, unfortunately, it doesn't just happen because you all of a sudden have a good story to send out. There is effort that gets put into that and some strategy and whatnot. But even that, I feel like it's way less work to get people to sign up for an email than it is, like I said, to get a story to them any other way. So we've had great success whenever, once a year we do have a big banquet. We have a lot of people in the room at one time, being able to right there at the table have them scan a QR code that signs them up for our emails has been a super easy way for people to get involved. And then once you start, kind of intermingling your email marketing with your other marketing tools like social media and that sort of thing, you kind of really easily and seamlessly start building this communication with whoever your demographic is, and you just kind of fill in the holes with all the different areas. And so someone follows our Facebook page or they like a post, then we have the opportunity through technology and whatnot to be able to kind of suck them in with other avenues too, like our emails and stuff. And so I think it's been a really easy process to be able to build that library of people.
I love that. So what I'm hearing is that, like, yes, there's some organic stuff, but two, it's good to put a little effort into it to ask people, hey, this, make people aware that you can sign up and learn more about, what's going on, be a part of our story, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's people who have a real passion and are, knowledgeable about what we do or what whoever's listening might already do. But there's a whole nother demographic of people who would be, but just haven't, rubbed shoulders with you yet. So being able to, of course you're going to get the ones that already know and are already interested. But if you just take it, that one step further, there's a whole, new slew of people that you can reach, just a little bit more effort.
Yeah, I like that. So you've already kind of talked on it, and it's fine if you repeat yourself some, but like what value specifically do you think that email marketing provides for your donors in particular?
Well, I think most people, especially nowadays, we're wanting to know is what we're doing making a difference. We don't want to just give of our time, resources, finances, whatever it is, to something if we're not knowing what's happening. And so I think email marketing really provides the organization or business, whatever it is, transparency with a donor or whoever it might be, whoever the constituent is, to be able to know this is what we're doing. This is how, in our case, how we're spending your finances and your contributions, and letting them know that we're able to give reassurance to them, that we're doing what we say we do, and we have the testimonies and whatnot to show for it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Stephen, thanks so much for joining us for this little snippet here, and we'll see you guys soon. Marketing Impressions is brought to you by M. Roberts Digital. M. Roberts Digital is your local marketing company with global reach. We uniquely and proudly offer every kind of marketing imaginable for our clients' campaigns. Quite simply, we make you successful. By hitting our goals month after month, M. Roberts Digital has continued to grow year after year and achieve unprecedented success. You can learn more and start your own marketing campaign at mrobertsdigital.com.